Hi everyone, I'm Jo Fry. Welcome back to my channel, Jojo Fry Rocks, and to another video in my acoustic and semi-acoustic mini-series. Today's video is an idea that I got when I was making the previous video. So when I was doing the demos for the X5 U8 acoustic wireless microphone, I played through some of the things that I enjoy playing on acoustic guitar. But those are not necessarily my actual favourite songs. They're just things that I really enjoy or that they're challenging to play and I like to practice. I'd like to just talk today through some of my favourite, actually my top 5 acoustic versions of songs, and really some of my favourite acoustic performances of all time. These are not necessarily acoustic guitar songs. It's a different thing. So these are actually acoustic versions of songs that were originally written and performed as full electric guitar rock songs. So what I think is interesting about that is that when you do an acoustic version of a song, and I do this a lot of the time actually, what you are having to do is to rearrange that song. You have to kind of translate it into a different medium. And I think that's what makes acoustic versions great. I think that adds an entire new level to the performance. It gives you a different lens to view the song through. It just seems to add more emotional intimacy, particularly in terms of the performance, because I think once a lot of that stage gear is stripped away, including your electric guitar, there's nothing but the vocal, which most of the focus is on in an acoustic version. So you're totally reliant on the lyrics carrying weight and meaning, the quality of the vocal, and then the arrangement on the acoustic guitar, because it isn't a direct like-for-like one-to-one cover. You can't simply just play the same thing that you played on electric guitar on an acoustic guitar. They are actually pretty fundamentally different, both in terms of the sound and tones that you can create, but also in terms of the way that you play. And a solo that can sound incredible and amazing on electric guitar can have the potential to fall very, very flat when you play it on an acoustic guitar, because when you don't have the effects and pedals and processing and the amp and everything else that creates that tone, that atmosphere, that attitude of the solo, when you're just stripping it down to literally the melodic lines of it and playing it on an acoustic guitar, it often doesn't work. You have to change things up. You have to be creative. You have to think your way around it and do something slightly different. It might mean changing the tempo. It might mean playing chords that are voiced in a different way, potentially. Power chords don't necessarily always work that well on an acoustic guitar. So you're going to have to think about how else are you going to fill in the space, fill out that sound when you've just got, most of the time, an acoustic guitar and a vocal. Some of these performances that we're going to look at are full band performances, so they do have the benefit of having an acoustic bass, for example, and drums as well, but albeit slightly different drums. So the same thing, I think, with translating the drums to an acoustic performance. You can't be absolutely kind of smashing a hell out of a drum kit when everyone else is on acoustic instruments. You have to be smart and be creative, use brushes, and just do things entirely differently than you did on the recorded track. And that, as I've said, is one of the reasons why I love acoustic versions, particularly of rock songs. So, my top 5. Here we go. We're going to look at some of these together. I'm going to go into what I think makes them great. So, the original, the best, the one that kind of started MTV Unplugged in a way, is Bon Jovi's version, acoustic version of Wanted Dead or Alive. Now this is Richie Sambora and John Bon Jovi. I think they're at the 1989, could be 88 or 89 VMA Awards, and they just play together, just them singing, just their harmonies, and this version of Wanted Dead or Alive is, for me, just the best, I think, acoustic version of a song ever. I absolutely love it, and I believe that an exec at MTV saw this and got the idea for MTV Unplugged. I think a lot of people around that time as well, you know, MTV had been going for some time. People were getting a little bit jaded, I think, with the whole concept of flashy videos and overproduction in general. I think there was an appetite at that time for something that was a lot more stripped back, a lot more intimate, and something that showcased actually the real talent of the performers, both in terms of the vocals and the playing. And on an acoustic version of a song, it absolutely shines through. There is nowhere to hide. So you are front and centre. And luckily, John and Richie had no problem with that whatsoever. Here's Wanted Dead or Alive.
Now it's all the same. Only it needs a change every day. It seems well we're still away. I know the place where the faces are so close. You travel all night just to get back home. 'Cause I'm a cowboy. Whoa.
that to me is 100% everything that an acoustic version of a song, a rock song, should be. It was a representation of what the song actually sounds like, but it wasn't exact. There were differences. Richie was singing quite a lot, so it featured quite a lot more of Richie's vocals, which I love. I think he's a superb singer, as well as a astonishingly good guitarist. But John's vocal as well. I mean, this was his peak. This was his absolute peak. This is what made them what they were. And you can absolutely see why from this performance. Those harmonies were precise. Everything about it was perfect. It was amazingly well delivered, but you can see how meticulously they had arranged that song. So the arrangements with the guitars, the solos, Richie didn't do a solo that was anything like the solo on the original track. It was completely switched up for the guitar that he was playing, which, you know, that was one of the first times that I'd actually ever seen a double-necked acoustic guitar. I thought it was so cool. I thought it was amazing. It does still look really, really cool. And he did need it. He did use the fact that it was a double-necked guitar to play different things. It was so creative. It was so well performed. And they looked like they were having a blast. I mean, that is what really sells a performance. If the performers look like they're having a good time, everyone's having a good time. And ultimately, I think that's what Bon Jovi were about, weren't they? They were about a good time. And that's everything that you wanted from them. Spot on. Perfect. That's why it is and will always be my number one favourite acoustic version and performance of a song. Next, we're going to go to what was actually my favourite MTV Unplugged performance that I've ever seen. I think it's iconic. I do truly think it's the best one. And of course, it's Alice in Chains. This was in 1996 when the band was still massively popular. The album that they'd put out the year before had gone straight to number one on the Billboard charts. So they were still kind of really at the height of their fame and popularity. But things had been going downhill. Lane was not in a good way. And by the time they did this performance, they weren't even at all sure if he was actually going to turn up. He hadn't been necessarily turning up to the rehearsals. And yeah, he was on a downward trajectory. I think that's, you know, all we need to say, really. Despite all of that, though, he turned up and absolutely knocked it out of the park. It was such an intense, emotional, incredible vocal performance from Lane. And Jerry, for his part, I think some say he was suffering from food poisoning. I think I've heard Jerry himself say that he was actually hungover. It's probably maybe a bit of both even, but he wasn't very well either. We all know what this is like. You know, we've all had those days. But imagine you're having one of those days and then you've got to go and do a live performance that's going to be filmed for MTV and then is going to be made into an album to be sold. Because this is, you know, one of the reasons why they did it was because their record label was kind of pushing them to put out some more songs. And they didn't have any at that point, really. They didn't have much new material to be going on with. So they weren't keen on doing it even, but under pressure from the label, they went ahead and did it. And I think they were actually coming round to the idea. Lane actually had quite a lot of input into the set design, even down to the fact that the candles that you'll see on the stage, he brought them in himself. He'd bought them that day and brought them in for the set. He wanted the lighting very, very low. He wanted the candles and things. So, and I think they'd also asked for lava lamps. But as you'll see in the performance, lava lamps take a while to heat up, and they hadn't had them switched on for long enough. So the wax and stuff inside them is barely moving. So, but that all just kind of contributes, I think, to the atmosphere of gloom and intensity that you see on the stage. And I can barely watch this without actually kind of ending up in bits. So we'll see how much of this I can actually watch and, keep it together. I think of the whole set, there are some excellent performances. Everyone says that the standout performance is Nutshell, but Nutshell's an acoustic song anyway. So that's a fantastic song, and it's an amazing and really moving performance. But I think for me, the one that's the most surprising, and I think genuinely the most kind of creative, is the cover of Rooster. So the song that Jerry Cantrell wrote about his father's experiences of the Vietnam War. I had thought previously, a lot of that song relies on actually the pedals and effects and the kind of sound design of the song to create that really brooding atmosphere of it. So you would wonder how they would actually put all of that across in an acoustic version. But actually, it's an incredibly emotional song. So all you really need is for the vocal to get that across. And you'll see in a second just exactly how they nail it, and Lane in particular. This is an incredible, incredible performance. I have goosebumps. I get these every time I watch that. It's so haunting. It literally gives me chills to watch and listen to. Just so emotional. And I think there's so much going on. There's so many layers to it. And that stripped back version, that much, much more subdued version that strips away the kind of bombastic parts where those heavy chords and loud guitars kick in. When you don't get that, it's this kind of hushed quiet that actually allows for more reflection and, the meaning of the song to actually land. And I also love the fact that quite a few times you saw Jerry just looking at Mike and Scott Olsen, I think, their friend who joined them on guitar on this occasion, and smiling, like really huge, great big smile on his face, because Lane is absolutely killing it. He is nailing it. And it's just really emotional to kind of see the joy that, is coming for them, for the rest of the band, from the fact that Lane has just walked in, sat down, and absolutely is belting it out and delivering. And it's incredible given the actual kind of physical state that he was in at that point. But he did it. And it's literally one of the most legendary and iconic performances of the whole of MTV Unplugged. Anyway, we shall return to MTV Unplugged, but not yet. for number 3, I think we're at. God, we're only at number 3. I'm going to go to a performance that was from... Oh, when was this now? I think it might have been the same year, you know. So this was a little bit earlier. This was in 1995 in Sheffield, and Def Leppard played this quite small club, really, and did an entire acoustic set. And I will put links, obviously, to all of these in the description, because I would absolutely advise you to watch all of these. This set is incredible. It kind of reimagines all of their really, really popular songs at the time in quite unexpected ways some of the time. Like, I think their version of Pour Some Sugar on Me really makes it feel a little bit more like a kind of country style song. The riff sounds quite country in a way, which it totally doesn't on the album. I would never have thought of it in that way. But yeah, they're all playing acoustic. There's obviously drums still, but not in the same way that they would normally play a live show. Anyway, this is my favourite Def Leppard song, and this version of it almost for me, almost is better than the original version. Not quite, because it's Def Leppard, and obviously there are things about the sound of Def Leppard that, you know, can't be completely replicated in an acoustic show. However, I think if I was gonna pick an acoustic version of any of their songs that I think comes close to actually, you know, being my preferred version, it is this one. It is Animal, and I love it.
Comes to town. We are the hungry ones on a lightning rain. Just like a river runs, like a fireman's flame. Oh, I'm good for you. I got to feel it in my blood. Whoa, I need your touch, don't need your love. Whoa, sing it. And I want, and I need, and I love, and more. And I want, and I need, and I love, and more. Cry wolf, give 'em mouth to mouth. It's like a moving heart in the witching hour. Running with the wind, shadowing the dust. And like the driving rain, yeah, like the restless rust. I never sleep. I got to feel it in my blood. Whoa,
I loved that little triumphant whoo at the end, Joe flicking his hair about, which I think was like most of that performance. Like 80% of it was Joe flicking his hair about, which, you know, does actually remind me that back in 1995, I probably did think that was the most beautiful man I'd ever seen in the world. And I stand by that. I do stand by that. I can't wait. We're going to see them very soon. I cannot wait. But yes, that was an amazing performance. Fantastic work, obviously, on the guitar. Phil is incredible. I think one of the things that I do like about the performance is just the fact that they all just look so ordinary. And I think at that point, we hadn't been used to seeing rock stars looking like that. So, you know, 70s, 80s, you know, you had glam rock, and it was either, you know, big hair, makeup and tight trousers, or it was sort of tight trousers, leather jackets and long hair. I don't think, you know, we were kind of used to seeing Def Leppard sort of just in their casual clothes. And that's one of the things that I love about it, because it looks like they were just in the pub and it was an open mic night and they've just got up and sung a song. Like, oh, we weren't expecting to do this, but yeah, go on, why not? It's such a laid back, chilled performance. But having said that, there's plenty of energy there. They're rocking, they're going for it, Joe's going for it, and it all feels like they're so completely in sync with each other, which I think is such a hard thing to do anyway, but to do live and to do acoustic when that's not the normal thing that you do is a pretty incredible thing to be able to pull off. And they pull it off perfectly. They are almost like one entity performing. It's pretty amazing, although they've been together for quite a long time by that point. But like I say, that's not their usual thing. So spot on, totally perfect. Absolutely love it. Almost, for me, better than the original, but not quite. The original just edges it, I think. At number 4, we have one of the songs from the Nirvana MTV Unplugged set. And of course, again, this is another iconic Unplugged set. Probably one of the biggest selling albums of all time. Although I'm not sure if Eric Clapton's Unplugged album might have just outsold this by a couple of million. It's between those two anyway. But this was a really different approach to the Unplugged set. Nirvana are not just playing their own songs, and they're not even playing like their biggest hit songs. The approach that Kurt took to it was that he wanted to play his favourite songs. And one of the songs that they play is a cover of David Bowie's Man Who Sold the World. And the thing that I love about this is that Kurt, in this performance, you can see him having kind of the same problem, kind of the same dilemma that a lot of us have. If you've ever played a cover of somebody else's song, you'll know what I'm talking about when I say that you're desperately trying to make it your own in some way. So not just the arrangement, but also in the vocal. You're trying to do your own take on it. You're trying to do your own thing. But obviously, more often than not, it's a song that you love. It's a song you're really passionate about and you've heard loads of times. And you find yourself kind of slipping into a little bit of doing an impression, or your impression, you know, of copying what that original vocal is like. And I can see and I can feel the concentration from Kurt as he goes through this song, where it's almost slipping into that David Bowie impression, and you can feel that he's trying so hard to pull back from that. He's trying to sing it in his own way and put his own stamp on it. And he's also playing the guitar, obviously, and he has arranged it in a way that sounds quite different from the track. And I think it's very effective. I think it works really well. But like I say, I can see him having the same struggle that I have and that many of us have when we cover someone else's songs. So I just think that's so relatable. And I think the other thing that makes it relatable is that he actually does make a mistake. He goes a little bit wrong in the solo. It's a tiny, tiny thing. Most people probably don't notice or wouldn't notice it. But I know that he knows that he's made a mistake. And I think this is what kind of marks out a really good performer, is somebody that can just get over it instantly and can just push on and just carry on and not let that affect them for the rest of the performance. Don't dwell on it. Just keep going and just deliver the rest of the song. And I find that really hard. I find that really, really tough. If I've messed up and made a mistake, I will quite often feel like I have to stop. And you can't do that. You can't do that when you're playing MTV Unplugged. So he doesn't let it affect him. He doesn't let it bother him. And he plays the rest of the song. But anyway, you'll see what I mean when we listen to it. Absolutely love this version. Shout out as well to the drums, by the way, particularly on this, but in some of the other performances as well. You know, the subtlety of the drumming is amazing on some of these things. And I do love the way that Chris actually, you can see how much fun he's having and how much he's enjoying playing this song. Just his little face, it's everything.
Spoken wasn't well, although I wasn't there. He said I was his friend, which came as a surprise. I spoke into his eyes, I thought you died alone a long, long time ago. Oh no, not me. We never lost control. The face to face of the man who sold the world. I laughed and shook his hand, made my way back home. I searched for former land. For years and years I roamed. I gazed and stared. We must have million years. I must have died alone a long, long time ago. Who knows? Not me. I never lost control. Your face
little mistake where he just goes a tiny bit wrong. It's not a big deal, but if you're a guitarist, you know how that feels. If you've ever played live, you know how that feels, and you know what a struggle it would be to just carry on as if nothing happened, because definitely that cellist noticed. Anyway, love that. Just one of the best acoustic cover versions, one of my favourite cover versions ever, I think. And that brings me to number 5, which is an acoustic version of a Poison song, or more specifically, a Richie Kotzen song, because this is a song that he wrote and developed with Bret Michaels and then recorded with the band Poison. And I found this acoustic version of it a couple of years ago when I first got into Richie Kotzen, when I was first kind of scrolling through YouTube, trying to find every performance that I could of his. And this is one of my favourite ones because he actually tells the story of how that song actually was the thing that got him into the band. So let's hear Richie tell us a funny story and then listen to his acoustic version of Until You Suffer Some Fire and Ice, which is actually one of my favourite songs of all time.
And actually, this is an interesting song. It's a song that I wrote. I never totally finished it. I had it mostly finished. And years ago, when I lost my record deal, I was offered an opportunity to play in the band Poison. And so I obviously took the opportunity. But when I did the audition, I remember being a very cocky 21-year-old guitar player. And Poison at that time was a huge band in the United States, and they had multiple hits on the radio. So anytime you put on MTV or listen to the radio, you heard Poison songs. And when I got the opportunity to audition, I figured, I'm not going to bother to study. I know this shit. I've been hearing this now for years. So I go to the audition, and they pick 4 songs. And I didn't play one of the 4 songs correctly. I fucked up every single chance I could. And in the very last song, not only did I not play it correctly, but the amp that I was using broke and smoke started coming out of it. It was a bad scene. But in the end, Bret Michaels said, well, to be honest, I know you're a good guitar player, but you didn't play our songs very well. Do you have any songs of your own that you could play for us? And I had 2 that I played for them. And the one I'm going to play now, it was originally called Fire and Ice. And later, Bret and I rewrote some of the words. It's called Until You Suffer Some. And I think to this day, this is the saving grace of how I got that gig, was this song. And I want to play it for you now. One time, let's start now.
can find the words to say, yeah. Tell me what to do, I cannot make it right. I don't worry, baby, promises made in the heat of the night. Shows spin around and then romance goodbye. It's not enough, girl. I give you my soul. I just wanna love we've got nothing left alone. And I say, oh no, my baby, it's gonna be the last time we spend. It's gonna be the last time that we say goodbye. In the picture shadows, I can find the words to say, yeah. Tell me what to do, I cannot make it right. You'll always be right. I can't stand to see no more morning sun. She never understands till you suffer some. And I said, oh no, my baby, it's gonna be the last time we spend. It's gonna be the last time that we say goodbye. In the picture shadows, I can find the words to say. Tell me what to do, I cannot make it right. But you know I'm gonna always be by your side.
Thank you. We'll be back in 15, 20 minutes. So I'll see you.
Oh, come on. You've got to love Richie Kotzen. Just what a performer. What a player. Like, that guy can do everything. And, you know, you almost kind of think, whereas all the other musicians, like, it sounds like there's about 5 people playing, but it's just him, obviously, because the way he plays guitar is just, he's doing so many things all at the same time. He's so incredibly talented. And I think that just shows his talent. Like, he's not just this shredder guy. Like, he's kind of known for being, you know, this incredibly fast, shreddy kind of player, or he was when he first started out, I suppose. You know, he was an Ibanez guy, Ibanez artist, and, you know, that was his whole deal, really. But, you know, over the years, as time's gone on, obviously he's proved to be an immensely talented songwriter, who's way more into the kind of sort of jazz fusion, funk, R&B type thing, as well as rock and sort of everything in between, really, sort of hard rock, and the stuff that he does with like Winery Dogs and with Adrian Smith from Iron Maiden. So he can do anything. He can do everything. But that, to me, just shows his pure talent, both in terms of songwriting and the performance and the delivery of that song on an acoustic guitar. That's just one of the best acoustic performances I think I've ever seen, and that's why it's in my top 5. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed all of those. Please do tell me in the comments what are some of your favourite acoustic performances or acoustic versions of songs. Did you agree with these? Do you disagree with them? And yeah, let me know what you think is the best acoustic version of a song. Okay, cheers, thanks everyone. See you next time.